Hello everyone, welcome to the IAS Mentor Modern Indian History series. We are continuing, we have already completed these three chapters. We are continuing the socio-religious reform movements in India. We have seen what is the necessity for giving a shock to the Indian society, what kind of slumber India was in, and why India required socio-religious reform movement during British Raj. In this class, we need to understand one more topic, that is the debate between two ideologies, East or West, which is the best model for Indian society. This is important to understand the mindset of the mindset of British administrators, because that mindset influenced socio-religious reformers also in India. That is why we need to know their contribution also. Here also prelims questions are there, many prelims questions, and when it comes to mains examination, these ideologies are very crucial to understand how the British administered India and how gradually they controlled every institution of Indian society. In order to understand this, we need to have proper timeline how they are creating a system step by step. The British, let me draw this. In which year Bengal conquest took place? Two battles are there. Whatever I am writing, everything is a potential prelims question. When it comes to Bengal, with the Battle of Plassey in 1757, Battle of Plassey took place. It is a prelims question. But to understand even 1857 revolt also, or Indian national freedom struggle also, you have to connect the dots like this only. UPSC can give the sentence from anywhere. That is why you should have complete control of entire timeline, starting from East India Company establishment to till Quit India movement, till British India's independence. 1757 Battle of Plassey, and later in 1764 Battle of Buxar took place, and in 1765 Treaty of Allahabad, through which Shah Alam II gave Diwani rights to East India Company to collect in Bengal, Bihar and Odisha. Now they strengthened their position. The moment they got Diwani rights in 1765, dual government started. For the namesake, Nawab is there, but real power lies in the hand of East India Company. With this dual government, they got the power but no responsibility, and Nawab had the responsibility but no funds. Now complete chaos. It resulted in famines also. That is why in 1773, Regulating Act was passed. Regulating Act was passed. Now we are focusing on Bengal because here Governor of Bengal became Governor General of Bengal. What is the fort name? Fort William. Another prelims question. Who was the first Governor General of Fort William? Warren Hastings. Warren Hastings. Now, when East India Company came here, East India Company officials, they did not come here to rule India. They came here as an employment, like Warren Hastings also, one of the employees of East India Company. In Madras, in Bombay, in Surat, in Hooghly, in Bengal region, everywhere, it's a company. Company officials, these are all company officials. What is the purpose of company officials? So whatever company ownership does, whatever company ownership give the targets, they have to meet. And their target is to collect as much revenue as possible after this dual government. Now with the Regulating Act, now they were given not only just commercial and also revenue collection, but general administration also coming in the hands of the British officials. Now, when it comes to general administration means what? Revenue collection is one thing. You are collecting revenue from the peasants. But if there is a dispute between peasants, who is going to resolve it? If there is a dispute between government officials and peasant, who is going to resolve it? If there is a revolt or any kind of law and order issue, who is going to resolve it? That is where administration beyond revenue department comes. That is like law and order, judiciary. Judiciary, simply, if you consider this is like police, and this is judges, and these are collectors. Could you see how the modern day administration is emerging? Like this, through Charter Act, as the Charter Acts, Regulating Act, Pitt's India Act, Charter Acts are coming, this kind of system is emerging. Now, when they were just collectors, they need not to know about Indian traditions, Indian customs and all. But the moment you are acting as a judge, then in India, there are Hindus also, Muslims also. Hindus were following a different kind of law, Muslims are following a different kind of law. But in these English people were not knowing Indian customs completely. Hinduism related policies, the ideas they do not know. Islamic ideas they do not know. Whatever they were following in England, they cannot apply here. Regulating Act also passed, also had a provision of which one? One Supreme Court of Fort William. Judiciary. Now, do you see what is the now socio-religious reforms are coming because of this kind of administrative setup? Now, when judiciary is talking about judgments, what should be the role of this judiciary? Should it deal with only British subjects or Indians also? The moment Indian comes, here Hindus are also there, Muslims are also there. In the previous administration, like in Mughals, during Delhi Sultanate or Mughals and up to Bengal Nawabs, when it comes to Islamic law, when it comes to civil law, in case of dispute between people, between Hindus, between Muslims, when it comes to Hindu civilian law is applied. When it comes to Muslims, Muslim law. But when it comes to criminal law, like punishments, similar Sharia is applied, Islamic law is applied with respect to criminal law. But when it comes to civil law, it is different for different people. Now they also started following the similar manner. Now let us see this. When it comes to Indian customs, because we are understanding socio-religious reforms, we have to know because of which circumstances, which background is propelling Indians to think about a reformation in Indian society. This is the system. Now, when someone is creating a new system altogether, that system is required, a new kind of mindset in the society that is propelling Indian leaders also to think about reformation in Indian society. Now, Indian customs, say like in judiciary, Maulvis, before the English judiciary is about to establish, Maulvis are there, Pandits are there. Maulvis were dealing with Islamic laws and Pandits are dealing with Hindu Shastras. Hindu Shastras, like for example, when it comes to property dispute, Islamic law is different and Hindu Shastras, Mitakshara, Dayabhaga, some kind of Hindu Shastras were there. They were using that kind of system. It is in Bengal also, in different places, wherever they are going to establish their system, they are going to depend on local Pandits and local Maulvis. This is with respect to civilian. When it comes to criminal, Islamic law and Islamic law. Now, if judiciary is headed by English person, this English person needed translators. These are the translators. And these are the translators. Now, could you see how Indians are becoming part of East India Company administration? These are Indians only were giving a chance to the English people to rule India, because that is the system they are creating. In the process, socio-religious reformation also is going to start. Translator, translator. Why translator? This person speak English and this person Arabic or Urdu. When it comes to these laws in Arabic, and when it comes to these, they are in Sanskrit. Now, these are all Indians. Now, to understand Indians, this person should know about Indians well. If a person wants to know about Indians, that person needs to have control or command over Sanskrit also, Arabic also, Urdu also, whatever regional language if it is required. But two things are important. This is Arabic, and Urdu is combination of Hindi plus Persian. Urdu, Persian. And in fact, Persian is the court language of Mughals. So when it comes to Persian, a person require command over Persian text also, Arabic text also, Sanskrit text also. But all of a sudden they cannot learn. They were depending on Maulvis and Pandits. This is how Indians are gradually becoming part of East India Company administration. Now naturally, these people earlier they were getting employment in Nawab court. Now they are getting employment in East India Company office. It is how it started. Some English people, one of the judges of Supreme Court of Fort William, important prelims question. One of the judges of Supreme Court of Fort William, William Jones. William Jones. Very important, already asked also. And he wanted a systematic approach. He wanted a systematic approach to understand Indian customs, Indian traditions, and Indian laws. What is happening since ancient times. What he has done? In 1784, he created an organization called Asiatic Society of Bengal. Very important. Who founded Asiatic Society of Bengal means William Jones. Now, it was formed in 1784, Asiatic Society of Bengal. William Jones. What is the role of this society? Later, this kind of society was formed in Bombay also, Asiatic Society of Bombay. Even in England also, after some time, to understand Indian society and Asiatic society, even one royal society also formed in England. That is how systems are emerging. What is the purpose? What is the function, role of this means? They have to know Asian societies. Because the way English people are living different, the way Parisians, Arabic people, Indians are living different. When it comes to Indian administration, Arabic traditions, Parisian traditions, Sanskrit traditions are used in the day-to-day administration. That is why they wanted to know about the indigenous people, Indians. This organization started translating Sanskrit text, Arabic text, Persian text into English. Even before this 1784 organized approach, this is an organization systemic approach. Before 1784 itself, some interested individuals, those who wanted to know Sanskrit, they already started learning Sanskrit. Some of them even they translated also some of the Sanskrit works into English also. That example, in 1776, Manusmriti. Dharma Shastras are important for Hindu laws. Pandits were strong in Manusmriti, Dharma Shastras. English also wanted to know what is the content of this. In 1776, Manusmriti was also translated into English. It was translated into English. A book name called, the book name is A Code of Gentoo Laws. A Code of Gentoo Laws. Manusmriti. So this is Sanskrit code for administering Hindus with respect to civilian administration in 1776. Now, someone translated Bhagavad Gita into English, someone translated Kalidasa works into English. In this way, different efforts were made. In 1778, Sanskrit grammar was translated into English. N.B. Hallhead. N.B. Hallhead. So he worked on Sanskrit grammar so that English people also can learn how to read Sanskrit. You see, individuals, and this is a collection of 1776 means who is there? Warren Hastings is there. First Governor General of Fort William. Under his guidance, Pandits were asked to collect what is Manusmriti and translate it into English. And another English person worked on Sanskrit grammar in 1778. Similarly, after 1784, William Jones created. By 1780s, Bhagavad Gita was translated into English. Kalidasa works also translated into English. Now, who is the person Bhagavad Gita? His name is Wilkins. In 1785, Charles Wilkins translated Bhagavad Gita into English, and Abhignana Shakuntalam was translated into English by William Jones only. William Jones only. Now, do you see how people are coming? Here, prelims point of view. Here, many questions are there. William Jones, who organized Asiatic Society of Bengal, under his guidance, Sanskrit works and the Arabic Persian text are now gradually getting translated into English so that English officials can understand what is the lifestyle of Hindus and Muslims in India so that they can better judge the people, better administer the people. In 1780s, this. In Warren Hastings time period, lot of interest was shown to understand Indian condition or Indian society or Asian society, because when they came here, they came to India to get profit and they are profiting also. Now they are getting a opportunity in administration also. They wanted to know about Asian societies and they are learning. This generation created some individuals who started appreciating when they do not know about Sanskrit text, Persian Arabic text, they do not know about the greatness of Indian values and Indian traditions. But the moment they themselves directly understanding Kalidasa works, Bhagavad Gita, and other Sanskrit texts, they started appreciating these texts and they started appreciating Indians also, that much long ago itself, Indian traditions were well established. Manusmriti goes back to post-Mauryan time period. Bhagavad Gita goes back to later Vedic time period. That is the time period of Mahabharata Ramayana. So since those days, like Upanishads, Ramayana, Mahabharata, Puranas, Bhagavad Gita, and all these are reflecting that long ago Indians developed a systematic approach to administer themselves. In the process, they also came to know that William Jones came to know that there is a clear-cut similarity between European language and Indian language, that is Sanskrit. So when he come from Sanskrit, William Jones come from Europe. In Europe, Latin, Greek were considered equivalent of Sanskrit. If there is a language that is older like Sanskrit in Europe, that means they are Greek and Latin. Now there are strong similarities. Strong similarities. Now in this way, what happened? English people who are coming from this society and Pandits who are coming from this society, now they are identifying some kind of similarities long ago itself. That means there is some kind of interaction long ago, and that is where it led to creation of different kind of theories, Aryan migration, Aryan invasion, and they are calling Aryans. Sanskrit text also referring to Aryans. Here also Aryans. That means there is a connectivity between Aryans. In this way, Indian administrators and Pandits had now commonalities in understanding each other. Now it becomes a smooth process in understanding Indian society in the similar manner. The way English are going to administer English, gradually they wanted to do for India also. The people who started appreciating Asian values, Asian text and Asian knowledge, they came to be known as Orientalists. Orientalists. This is about Eastern values or Eastern way of life. Eastern way of life. So what is our topic? East or West, which is best? So at this point of time, in 1780s, in 1790s, a generation of English officers evolved and they started understanding Asian texts like Persian text, Arabic text, Sanskrit text. They started appreciating their traditions, their understanding, the depth of content these texts were possessing. They started calling with this name called Orientalist. That means the people who appreciated Eastern knowledge, Eastern values. Now, meanwhile, in 1780s, 1790s, something is happening in England also. In India, this generation were trying to understand Indian values at the root level, grassroots level. And these people go to England and they will take this knowledge there also. And they are the one who introduced Sanskrit subject also in their universities. Like in India, English is introduced in India. Similarly, in European universities also, Sanskrit is introduced. In England and in other European countries, Sanskrit interest towards Sanskrit also increased because of these Orientalists who went back. They have taken this knowledge there, and when they started teaching there, it created a lot of interest in the new young generation. In that way, Sanskrit also became one of the important subjects in European universities. The people who are appreciating this set of values, they are called Orientalists. Now, naturally, it is something like in India, if people are talking English, if people are speaking English, the local language people who are not able to understand English and they wanted to focus on the regional language like vernacular language and Hindi language, they say that English is not good for Indian society. Indian languages, Indian values must be highlighted rather than English. Even today also, we are facing that. In the similar manner, English society, European societies also faced that kind of struggle that we should not encourage Sanskrit, we should encourage English because English society is more advanced. That created a different kind of class of people there. They are called Anglicists, or who is believing in Western ideas and who are believing Western values, Western knowledge is more stronger than Eastern knowledge. So now you see this with respect to education, two different set of people emerged. One set of people were called Orientalists. Another set of people were called Anglicists. Anglicists. Now, what is the reason for the rise of Anglicist means this one. When it comes to Anglicists, here in 1750, Industrial Revolution started. Remember this? In 1750s, Industrial Revolution started. But before that, in Europe, Renaissance, scientific discoveries, Enlightenment, and when these phases were going on in England and in Europe, they are developing they are developing so many innovations improved in their society. Science and technology improved. They came out of superstitions and developed rationalistic thought. And their naval technology is good, military technology is good. The ideas like enlightenment, ideas like equality, liberty, fraternity, these are flourishing. It became very popular with 1789 French Revolution. Now, French Revolution is talking about equality, liberty, fraternity, and they are coming from this society. Now, if in this society, if someone is talking about Sanskrit, and those people who are appreciating these, they started highlighting Western values or Anglicist values over Orientalist values. They wanted that these values must be promoted in India also, because by 1800s, a class of people emerged within European society. Here we are talking about English society, where they started thinking English values and European values are modern values. Modern values. When it comes to India, China, Persia, Arabic world, they are considering those values were medieval values. In Europe also medieval values were there, but European people came out of that medieval mindset. They entered into modern mindset where Europeans don't believe in equality, liberty, democracy, parliamentary system, liberal values, whereas Indian society and Asian societies are still believing in medieval mindset like conservatism, religion domination. That is why it created a debate between two set of people, that who is great, whether West is great or East is great. By this time period, in Europe, many people started believing West is great because Western civilization is flourishing. They ruled America, they are ruling North America, they were ruling North America, they ruled South America also. Now they are controlling Asia also. Everywhere they are becoming successful, their military technology is becoming successful, their values are becoming successful. That is why a generation felt very proud about Western progress in science also, in politics also, in social values also. But now the Orientalists, because these Western people do not have direct touch with Indian values or Indian knowledge. Orientalists have direct knowledge with Indian knowledge. Those who have direct touch with Indian knowledge, Persian knowledge, they know how depth Asian values. They were debating Eastern values are also equally great. Western values, no doubt they are flourishing, but Eastern values are also equally great. But this debate gradually started becoming more and more intensified when Europeans started conquering different parts of the world. At one point of time, the Europeans started believing themselves that they are superior race because they are able to rule. So-called once upon a time they may be great, but currently this is great. That's why West is ruling East. By 1800s, by 1800s, 1810s, and 1820s, not only English people expanded in India, expanded in India. Now we have to see, now we are going to connect with the socio-religious reformers. This is where, from this generation only, Raja Ram Mohan Rai is emerging. Raja Ram Mohan Rai, who is considered as a pioneer in socio-religious reform movement, Raja Ram Mohan Rai. He is observing these developments, Orientalists, Anglicists. When it comes to English, they are expanding in India. Their territories increased. France, they are expanding their territories. And other European countries also, now they are started expanding. They are expanding. And now scientifically, they are progressing. Values, French Revolution values, equality, liberty, fraternity, liberalism, secularism, democracy. These values are emerging. Society-wise, equality, liberty, fraternity. When it comes to politics, liberalism, democracy, secularism, nationalism. These are the values that are growing stronger and stronger every day in Europe at this point of time. A generation of Europeans emerged and they started behaving that now Western values are modernized, and these values are the now modern values. We have the responsibility to teach these values to the conquered people also. That is where utilitarianism means English people must take policy steps. That means in India, East India Company officials are there. This philosophy encourages these administrators that they should take policies in such a way it uplift Indians. Indians believing in backward ideas that in the previous class we have seen, like caste system, untouchability, slavery, women, sati practice, child marriage. When these practices were going on and these practices were not in sync with these modern values, that is why, as per this utilitarian philosophy, they have to take, government should take the steps. This will bring the Indians out of this backwardness and they will also follow these modern values. These modern values are the values of West. That means now you have to gradually teach Indians modern values, but those modern values means Western values. But again, when this kind of philosophies are going on, one person named in 1817, James Mill, he has given a book. He wrote a book called The British History of India. He had written a book called James Mill. He wrote a book. He is the person. And now, because of this, divide and rule policy also going to start. He has written a book. Remember, another prelims question. The History of British India, 1817. The History of British India. The History of British India he wrote. And he told, Indian society is like this. Indians were more interested in religion rather than this materialistic life. That's why they are not developing their science and technology. They are not developing a rationalistic thought. They are not developing the spirit of nationalism. They are not talking about liberalism, secularism. They always involve in religion. He divided Indian history into Hindu history, Muslim history, ancient, medieval, and he will not call this time as Christian history. He will say British history. This is what history of India classified into Hindu history, Muslim history, British history. This is to show that these people are secular. They are not giving importance to religion. All are equal. But in theory, they say that, but when it comes to reality, they exploit more than Indian dictators. When it comes to Hindu and Muslim and the secular, James Mill, remember James Mill 1817? These kind of people emerged in English society. Jeremy Bentham, who is a very strong propounder of utilitarianism, he was promoting these ideas that Western ideas must be given a chance in the conquered world. And in this kind of atmosphere only, in 1813, Charter Act was passed. Now you connect Charter Act 1813 had a provision that 1 lakh rupees must be. Now could you connect various dots? All dots are going to be connected about regarding future of India. 1 lakh rupees must be given to develop education in India. And this also given permission to enter into India Christian missionaries as well. Now could you see in which kind of atmosphere people like Raja Ram Mohan Rai are emerging? Now in Bengal, this is the atmosphere. East India Company is talking about, now East India Company officials, some were talking about greatness about India, Orientalists. Some were talking about greatness in Western world, that is Anglicists. This 1 lakh rupees was not spent on which kind of education should be given to Indians. Only when you give education, then Indians will come out of these socio-religious evils. But that education must be given by East India Company to Indians. What should be the curriculum? Whether Western education or Eastern education. Intense debate. One committee was established. A committee was established to decide which is best for India. Now, this committee started debating for 1 decade. 1 decade they debated. They will say Oriental subjects are good, and someone say Western subjects are good and Oriental. Suppose they will say English, Latin, Greek language should be used so that European subjects can be read in this. But when it comes to Oriental, they will say Arabic, Persian, and Sanskrit. Sanskrit is one of the oldest languages of humanity, and they are strongly proposing that Sanskrit must be taught in the schools. Arabic and Persian must be taught so that they will know their knowledge in their own language better way rather than imposing it. This is what Anglo-Orientalist controversy. This phase is known as Anglo-Orientalist controversy. Now this was debate is going on. 1 lakh rupees did not spend even after decade also. 1823, one committee established, nothing came out. Again debate was going on. In 1830s, William Bentinck appointed Lord Macaulay as head of this committee, and he decided English is the only language that is the best, and Western subjects are best to promote modernization in India. And he used to degrade Indian values, Indian system, Indian knowledge by saying one sentence that entire knowledge of Arabia and India is not even equal to one shelf of a good English library. That means he is summarizing that one shelf of library of Western subjects is far better than entire knowledge of India and Arabia. Now that is very clear. He wanted to promote English education. That is why he is also called father of English education, Lord Macaulay. He decided that funds will be given to education, but Western education, English education will be given. So in this way, Orientalists could not become successful. Anglicists became successful. because by this time period, the Western ideas, Western values are becoming more and more stronger and stronger. Christian missionaries are very active by 1830s. And because of this kind of policies only, William Bentinck in 1829, he abolished sati also. Sati practice also abolished. Why he abolished? It is in principle with Western values. That means sati is a cruel practice that is not up to the modern standard, that is a medieval ancient mindset. It should go. Now, this is the atmosphere in which Raja Ram Mohan Rai was growing. Now, could you see, to understand activities of Raja Ram Mohan Rai and Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, you have to know what is happening behind them. Otherwise, we will simply mug up what Raja Ram Mohan Rai has done, what organization he has created, Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, what he has created. But behind this much story is going on. That is why in 1790s, Raja Ram Mohan Rai was a child. He was born in 1770s. In 1790s, he is a teenager and now entering into 20s. 1810s, 1820s, he was very much active. He is getting exposure to both Western values like French Revolution, 1719, French Revolution, 1789, European revolutions, French Revolution, modern values in the form of Western and Eastern. He personally learned Sanskrit also, Arabic also, Persian also, Hebrew also, to know what is the real truth in Oriental subjects, what is the real truth in Western subjects. Now he understood that both are having good elements. India needed both. So he is saying India needed both. We should not discard this also, because by this time period they are most advanced. India should adopt, because India did not adapt. That's why India became colony. English people are ruling. And India should not leave their own knowledge also. That is why India needed both Western as well as Eastern knowledge. That is why. But social religious reformation should take place. India should remove the social evils. That can happen only by understanding in the true context of both Western subjects and Eastern subject. So here, when it comes to socio-religious reformers, they are not debating whether West is great or East is great. They are talking India needed both. India needed both. This year question only, this year in 2025 question only, it was asked whether Raja Ram Mohan Rai is against West or not. He is not against West. He is not against East. No doubt he is criticizing the evils of the East, and he is appreciating the great achievements of the West. But he is not blindly following West, because there are so many limitations there. Like for example, exploitation, that is not good in the Western civilization. And when it comes to East, like Upanishads, Vedas, and these are long ago itself, whatever the Western enlightenment, whatever enlightenment principles West is speaking today, these kind of enlightenment philosophies were there long ago in Eastern knowledge. That is why he don't want to criticize West or East. He want best from both and finally achieve best possible society in case of India. That is why reformers like Raja Ram Mohan Rai, we are starting with Raja Ram Mohan Rai because he is considered as the pioneer in socio-religious reforms in India. He wanted best from both spheres of the world and wanted a reformation, so that India also will achieve what Western countries are achieving. That is why English people, they fought with each other whether East is best or West is best. But people like Raja Ram Mohan Rai felt that India needs best from both spheres of the world. That is how the ideology behind Raja Ram Mohan Rai is coming from these developments. Now, with this context, with this background, we are going to understand what kind of organizations Raja Ram Mohan Rai is going to create, and various other Indians are going to respond to this development. I will give you the questions. Number 1, Asiatic Society of Bengal. Asiatic Society of Bengal was founded by. Second one, Supreme Court of Fort William was created by which act? Now, this question you are going to connect with the previous class also. I am giving the context wise. Third one, Raja Ram Mohan Rai was appreciating only Eastern values and criticized Western values completely. True or false? True or false? Fourth one, 1 lakh rupees for education. 1 lakh rupees for education in principle was approved in which charter act? Answer these questions. Okay, Asiatic Society of Bengal was founded by. Supreme Court of Fort William was created by which act? Raja Ram Rai only appreciating only Eastern values, completely criticizing Western values. True or false? 1 lakh rupees for education was allocated through which act in principle? All right, answer these questions in the comment box. Now, with this, the stage is set for the socio-religious reform movements. Various facts are going to, so many facts are there. We will try to understand in map point wise, like in Bengal, what are the organizations, in other regions, what are the organizations. Then only you can remember these many facts. But the behind these organizations, behind the development of these organizations, the real spirit, the real developments are this. So the real inspiration, motivational and debates that were propelling Indians to respond. All right, those things we will continue in the next class. Thank you very much.